welcome to a Monday episode of Vaygrim's Chance. Happy President's Day, if you're American. Let's see. I've made a lot of progress, and it was some off-camera progress with the help of my friendly captor, Dark Preacher. This is mostly stuff that's pretty simple and covered in the Thalmonomicon. I'm going to get this thing called an Arcane Abacus. I'll go over that in just a second. I'm not going to spend the episode doing Thaumcraft today. I'm going to do one of those maybe later in the week, but I have an idea for a build that I want to do, so I'm going to sidetrack off this for a little bit. I don't like spending too many episodes in a row on one thing because I think it gets boring for you, the viewers. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Thaumaturgy. Okay. I have some research that I have actually done. You can see I have got more I need to do, but wand recharging pedestal. The next thing I want to get is this thing called a compound recharge focus. I do not have one of those yet, but this is a wand recharging pedestal, which means I can recharge my wands off of that wonderful thing. Now, I'm still trying to get all the attributes above 50, which means I still need some Perditio and some Ordo. But I do actually get some of that, I think, from the Victus and the Mortis compound aspects. I can't remember. But basically, this thing can actually recharge itself, a wand, almost as fast as it can recharge itself because of this. Now, this is a Watch of Flowing Time from Project E. I'm not using these willy-nilly. Why? Because I'm on a server with other people. I have some consideration for my fellow players. So these are going to be used very sparingly. I'm not going to have them all over the place. These are special projects, special purposes. Eventually, I want to have this aura node big enough that I don't have to worry about using one of these. That's the goal. So we're going to work up to that. In the meantime, I'm going to buffer it up a little bit with this, which means it recovers power very quickly. Now, this thing over here. I have gotten my infusion altar, and I have actually, I think I had the flooring and this stuff, the mixed crystal clusters, right? These are iron framed great wood. Gonna break one real quick. That's the recipe. It's basically great wood with an iron nugget. Why did I do that? Well, it counts as an infusion stabilizer. So I made a nice little circle. Now, thing number two, there are heads under this altar. There's a head here, a head here. There's skulls, zombie heads, and skulls all over this place. Under the floor, there's also a mixture of full blocks of these right under the middle of the altar in a evened out pattern, which means that we have a lot of stabilization because all of this stuff counts as an infusion stabilizer. Plus that pattern up there means, oh, I already got it. We can actually do this total stability booster 5, which is actually pretty good. I have done the process to create this, the infusion ritual to create this thing was a stabilization and instability factor of 3. So I actually got this to where this is a pretty stable setup. Is it the most stable? No. But thanks to the Arcane Abacus, which is pretty easy to make, we can check stability levels and see if we need to shore it up anymore. This has been working pretty good. Made some Nitor to replace the fire under there. And the big change is I can't use a pipe on the top. If I pipe something into the top, it just pipes that aspect, 5 of that aspect straight in, and it locks up the entire alchemical construct. That's what I've discovered. I don't know if that's a bug or a feature, but that's the way it was working. So, yeah, I'm going to come through and put some labels on these, but eventually I want to get a golem working. I want to move these two and swap. Actually, no. I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to put another one of these right here. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to put some steps right up the middle so that I can have one golem that services both of these. I know that you can have 5 of these stacked all the way up, but if I do a stack of 5, single stack, I'm going to have a set of stairs that goes up to those different levels because the golem can only reach up to, I think, this level with the jar. I don't think it can reach that high. So I'd have to give it some stairs going up the side. And I might still do that, but golems are not very stair smart. Option number 2 is that I pull it away from the wall 1 block, and then I do a spiral staircase around the back. So, yeah. Say hello to YouTube. There's Trunks, Trunks9809, one of the pack devs, and my friend. So yeah. Hi YouTube. Yeah, so I do want to do that. I know that you can stack these 5 up. I didn't forget. I had a stack of 5 in 1 for my setup in season 2, but domes are kind of dumb. Anyway, so yeah, that is the Thaumcraft process so far. Not much has changed in here. Something will change in here. I'm going to zoom the map in. If you look, we're in the southern wall, directly under where the walkway would be a couple of levels up. I want to put an archway right here with a walkway going over to an adjacent area. I'm going to make a structure that is going to be another smaller cylindrical structure hanging off this side of the actual observatory. Just like I'm going to have one that way, and I'm going to have one that way. Well, by the way, I'm doing larger coordinates on my mini map so you guys can specifically see coordinates and what biome I'm in and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to move all of this equipment probably onto this wall right here and get this stuff and relocate it down there. I'll get the gearbox and leave it right here, but I'm going to actually swap this out. I'm going to put a gear swapper right here so I can just right click, take it all off, right click, put it all back on, make it really easy. This stuff will stay where it is. I'm going to get this stuff and put it right over here, specifically so I can put an archway right here and have a walk through. Yeah, let's see. What else is going on? Not much changed in here. I did have a rolling machine in here for several episodes. Most people probably didn't realize it or care. Empty. Empty. This is coming along very, very nicely. Blood magic. This is my automation. This is my automation process for slates. Basically, I have a little 2-block logistics pipe system because we turned off power requirements for logistics pipes in my pack. This means you can have mini LP systems. So I have this little system to keep 1 slate in here at all times. One stone in here at all times. And then this is filtered to only pull out what level of slate that I want to. Blank slate, for example. So this stocks it, and this pulls it out. Eventually, I will turn this into a self-sacrifice altar by turning all these runes into runes of self-sacrifice, which means we'll get a much better yield on things. Let's see. Because I was doing node combinations and I grabbed one of the nodes I grabbed as a sinister node, wasn't paying attention. By the time I got back here, I realized it was a sinister node when I started combining it. I thought, I'll let it go. Because of that, we got an eerie biome right over here. So I went ahead and planted a silverwood, and I now actually have, as you can see in the top right corner, magical forest. It is still spreading out. I think I still have some eerie biome spots, like right here. Deep ocean. But what I'm going to start doing is actually planting silverwoods over there. I'll probably plant one over here somewhere so I can actually start spreading that magical forest biome out, specifically because the watercolor for a magical forest is very bright, and the grass color is very bright, and I really do like that. Okay, today's project, enough of other things, let's move on to what we need to actually do. Daytime. Today's project is actually going to be getting rid of that bridge and finally sealing off the BDE. We are actually coming over here to spawn. We've got the little bits. Let's see. Interdiction torch. We've got little bits of some of our initial harvesting, our initial gardening stuff. I'm going to leave that for now, but eventually I am going to get all that stuff and relocate it and clear it out. What I want to do now, all these guys are going to have to go, but I'm not going to take care of them right now. I've got a cedrum tree directly where I want to go. Rogue cow. Okay. I am going to get... I don't need that right now. Whoa. Requested asphalt. Yeah, so what I'm going to do... is I'm going to put down... some asphalt going from the actual exit ramp. And I want to take it straight across to there. I'm going to clear out a chunk of space that direction. This is going to be basically the leftmost side. And we're going to make it kind of a compound. So I'm going to actually do... let's get up here. I'm going to get that tree and move it probably right over there. But what I want to get is all of this. I basically want to get this area and lower the dirt level one, which is why the animals are going to have to move. Let me think. Yeah, I'll have to come up with a better place for them. But basically, I want to get this whole level right here and lower it 1 block height. And then I'm going to have probably a ramp with the asphalt going straight down. We'll go across the water and go up a little bit. And then we're going to make a big flat space over here, clear out a bunch of the trees. I'm going to get to doing that. I'll be right back. Okay. So thing learned number 1, cedrum trees can get quite tall. I relocated the animals that were right here. This is all 1 level lower now. Relocated the animals that were right here over to just over this hill here. I will find a better place for them once I actually get some better layouts going on. So we got this little path right here. I'm going to go up. This is supposed to be a kind of a front security gate thing. I'm still not settled on the design. I don't think I want to use these as the uprights for the fencing. I think I want to use something else. I want it to be lighter in color, but slightly high-tech looking. This is going to be mostly a brainstorming session. So maybe by next episode on Wednesday, I'll have a better idea. I would really love to get, here's one thing I miss from 164 is Ars Magica. Ars Magica had force field blocks. No. Yeah, force field blocks or magic blocks or something like that. They did this really cool kind of wavy energy look. Right now, the only thing I know of that has a similar kind of a block is RF Tools, and it's actually the shield, like the block that is put down by shields, the support block. But you can't make those. You have to actually have a shield, and I wouldn't be able to do a shield in the Strange Designs. Actually, no, I would. But it wouldn't actually be... I don't want it to be solid. I want it to look like a kind of like a fence. So I'm still trying to come up with an appropriate block that I can make that has that kind of a phantom-y kind of energy, like laser fencing kind of thing. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. But I want a perimeter fencing. This is going to go off to a building that's going to be right here. I think this building is probably going to be I got to think about this. We don't need a whole bunch of like storage. I'm going to put a security booth right here. Just, you know, kind of make it look semi-official like it is a little bit of a compound. I want to get a lot of the trees that are around the area and replant them with stuff like this porphyr sapling because they look different. They look almost alien. We need to take the Christmas decorations down. I just noticed that. I want to get all these trees immediately around the compound and replant them with like porphyr or cedrum because it will make it look a little alien. It will contrast the environment, this environment directly around the compound with the ones around it. Now, here's what I'm thinking. I want to do a raised platform up here that's going to have a kind of a barrel-shaped, almost like a bread, like a loaf of bread. It's going to have a barrel-shaped top. I want to do a lot of glass with the white walls on the sides. I don't know what I'm going to use for the flooring right now inside the buildings, but I don't want to use the wireframe factory blocks because I already stare at that enough inside the BDE and the observatory. So what I think I'm going to do for the time being is I'm probably going to put down stone floors until I can find something different. Just because I need to get floors down. Let's actually request real quick. Wow, I only have, okay. Let's do cobblestone. It's going to be tacky. Sorry, folks. Requested. Let's get 2 of that. Yep, put some of that up and get that out of the way. Here we go. So, I'm thinking, okay. I want a circular dome. It's going to have to be, slightly offset, but I think it's going to have to be, let's look at this real quick. Because if this comes right up here, and then this is going to be coming in this way. I want a lot of rounded roof structures is what I'm thinking, specifically because that is the prevalent architecture we've been using. We've got the BDE, a very round shape. We've actually got the roof of the observatory, a very round shape. The same design went into the actual glass dome rounded shape on top of the ag building. So I think we should use the same thing here. And what I'm thinking is, whoopsie. We're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a crossroads right here. I want, basically, let's do, nope, that's not going to work. Let's get, might not have given myself enough room to what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to widen this out. Changing the design right on camera. I wanted an even look to the front, but it's not going to have one. Okay. It's much better. So if we, whoops, not you, flesh this out like that, because I don't want little narrow 2-block walkways. I want wide walkways between these buildings. Out already. Request. Whoop, I ran out. Okay. I made a lot of asphalt. I really should have made more though. So let's see. We're going to have a corner here, which means I could start and I could do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, gonna have a doorway there. Gonna have a doorway there. We can actually put this is gonna be, nope. This all needs to shift over yep, okay, perfect. Because this is going to be asphalt. So we're going to have kind of a white-shaped dome building. I might use a different kind of a block than this outer edge perimeter is. I don't even know if I'm going to use the lab blocks here. I might use this for the buildings and then do something else for this perimeter block, but I don't want just the edge. Basically, I don't want this. I don't just want grass and whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this, figure out what I want to do. But basically, let me brainstorm real quick and make some more asphalt. I'll be right back. Okay, so itty bitty little security building. I'm thinking this room can either be some of the public portals, like I could move the portal to the mining dimension in there. We could put a block once somebody makes it, whoever does make it first, to the a block for the deep dark for extra utilities. We could put it in there. Once we get stuff like portals to, you know, the end or whatever, we could basically have the public portals in there. Then I'm thinking we're going to have train stations coming. I mean, we're going to have trains coming in. The plan right now is to actually have, I'm not even sure I know where they live. Let's see. Okay. So Preacher, no, that's Berg Mountain right there. Okay. Let's turn everybody on. There's Berg right there. That's Berg Mountain. That's the entrance. He's going to have mine carts coming down over to here, right? I'm not sure who's over there. I can't remember. That's Shoop Island right there. Preacher is way off up here, so he's going to have mine carts coming from his base. I think that Greylock is either over here somewhere or he's up here somewhere. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go double check. But basically, everybody's going to be coming in to this little kind of what I was talking about, this barrel-shaped, almost like a loaf of bread. I want it to be nice and white, lots of glass, lots of arching architecture. I want a place where mine carts can come in. We can walk in on this side of it. Whoa. We can walk in on this side of it. It'll be stairs up. It'll be a nice white wall with some glass, windows, and stuff like that. On the inside, we're going to have train tracks coming in, carts coming in at various points. I want it to be raised up specifically so we can automate underneath it. We're going to have a lot of automation for things being offloaded. There's going to be some public resources. And what I'm thinking about doing... Let's put that back for the time being. Just for the sake of consistency, I'm thinking in this corner, there's gonna be, let's get rid of that. Still got to figure out what I want to do with the fencing, but I think I've determined I don't want to use this stuff. I want to use something else. So I'm going to be open to suggestions from you, the viewers, on what you think would be good. What is that? Oh, wolfsbane seeds. What would be good candidates for that? Let me know. You know, I am not the most aesthetically minded. I can come up with some interesting looking stuff, but I am by no means a Rorax. So, I'm getting some hitching. I don't know why. Periodic hitching, it'll drop down to about 9 FPS, but it doesn't happen all the time. It's usually happening when making a lot of rapid movements. I'm still figuring that one out. Okay, first things first that I can already tell by looking at the mini-map, we need to get a magnum torch and sink it right under here somewhere. I will work on that later, but I can make one. Let's see. I want to have the depot, like the minecart depot, right here. This is the, well, I guess we should call it the rail station. We're going to have the railway station up here, raised. And then right here, I want to have a multi-floor structure that is going to be the depot. This is going to be the trade depot. The upper floors are going to all be storage. And basically what I want to do is I want to have one minecart stop for every person on the server. So I'm not going to be using this system. Well, I might, because I could use ender rails. We could automate some stuff inside and warp our cart over here. So technically I could use it, and I might. That, now that I think about that, that might be cool. But we're going to get this spot and chunk load it, and we're going to make sure it's always chunk loaded. We want to make sure that mine carts actually have chunk loading for the long stretches that they actually go, or we'll use trains that actually have a chunk loader cart. That might be a better idea. Basically what I want to see is a depot that has a separate pit stop for every person, and that person's stuff unloads to their basically storage system. So we're going to have a thing here, and I'm thinking about using the Ender.io sorting system for this, but I'm not sure. We're going to have a system here that's going to have separate storage systems. You'll basically walk into this building, okay? And there's going to be an array of, maybe it's request tables, maybe it is some fancy vending machine, we don't know. But the concept is to have the stuff from people's bases that they want to trade coming in through minecart. It will come into the main station. It will get offloaded into this building, and each person will have their own separate conveyance from the minecart to the storage system. And everybody will be loading their system with something different. People will probably start figuring out now what they want to do for the sake of what they want to trade, what things they want to use, etc., etc. Some people might focus on certain kinds of magical crops. Other folks might focus on other types of magical crops. Some people might do livestock, whatever the case may be. There's going to have to be some coordination on the part of the server folks. I don't know what I am going to be trading in terms of offering, but I'm probably going to be buying a lot of stuff because I like the idea of that. I think it's neat. But basically, yeah, I want that to be that building. Now over here, I'm actually thinking about having a room that specifically has teleporters, return teleporters. There will be one arrival teleporter that is just going to be marked Trade Depot. And then there's going to be return teleporters that go to everybody else's base. So, for the sake of actually getting started on that, actually, I'm going to do that next episode. I've got some stuff prepped. Let's see, sorting, nope, requested. I've got transmitter, receiver. I've actually got a dialing device. I've got a little bit of a battery backup. This goes to the main power from the observatory. I'm going to set up right here an initial foundation for a building and set down some teleporters so people can actually use this. I need to also put some interdiction torches down in here so I don't have monsters wandering into my teleporter. But I want to have a central arrival point and then a separate teleporter back to everybody else's base, pre-programmed, so we don't have to keep reprogramming the teleporter. I want to have a separate one for everybody's base. I think it's going to be a good system. I will talk to you folks later. Make sure you have a great Monday. I will see you on Wednesday. I'm going to warn you, this week is going to be very creative build. It's going to be very creatively centric. I'm not going to be doing a lot of high-tech, like getting into the back end of Thaumcraft magical stuff or high-tech thermal expansion stuff. I really want to focus on getting the trade depot up and going to some extent, specifically because we've got so many other people on the server that really like the idea and really want to use it. So I want to strike while the iron's hot, so to speak, and really get that going. I will talk to you folks later. Have a great Monday. Bye-bye.